Hello everyone, Chief here. Welcome to my analysis of the latest ViDoc for Destiny. Yes, their second ViDoc by the name of Out Here in the Wild. Now, if you happen to have missed it, linked down below in the description. I highly recommend that you go check it out because I won't be talking over it. There's going to be some jump cuts and edits in this, so without further ado, let's move on to the analysis of it and see if I can point out some things that you may have missed. This ViDoc is heavily set in the same area of Old Russia that we have seen many times since the E3 reveal, and it also only has some brief glimpses of new areas. It seems like Bungie doesn't want us venturing too far out of Old Russia quite yet. Then seemingly out of the blue, they show off a brand new enemy character, and people are already presuming or giving it a nickname for this enemy character, nicknaming like a Queen of the Hive. People think that this floating kind of thing is like a queen and maybe controls the Hive or the Hive race, which for those who do not know, they're a space zombie race. We don't know much about it. People think there is a connection because right after this clip they show off the same Hive footage that we have seen before with that kind of Hive kind of Rancor-like beast that we still don't know anything about. Bungie then continues to mention that we can travel from different worlds, obviously the Earth, Venus, Mars, to the Moon, and to Saturn. They specifically list off these ones. Not entirely sure when they're going to release information about these different planets. Up until now, they only have brief information of, obviously Earth and the Moon, with Mars and Venus still awaiting reports from the Vanguard. As they mention this, the Guardian that we're looking through the eyes of approaches a location called the Black Garden. Just look how magnificent this place looks. We also get a look at the updated HUD. Now, it's only changed very slightly since we last saw it from E3, with the main changes being that there's a third ability slot, which we'll get into later, and the radar on the top left is slightly smaller, but still very classic Bungie-esque HUD elements. Here we get to see more angles of the battle against a fallen Devil Walker in the Old Russia public event that we have seen from E3. We get to see more footage of the personal vehicles called Sparrows, the Devil Walker deploying fallen Shanks, and many Guardians using different abilities to work together with their fire teams and other fire teams that have come together to fight in this public event. Moving on, they show off some more footage of character customization. From left to right, we see a Warlock, Hunter, and a Titan. Moving on to some weapon news, as Bungie mentions some unique weapon names like Cudgel of Xanthar and Fate of All Fools. It definitely seems like they're just letting them come up with all these wacky and creative names lately. Then they show off a plethora of designs for what appears to be one weapon, just modifying the colors, optics, barrels, ammo indicators, and more. I've slowed down the footage for you guys so you get to see the different changes this weapon goes through. It just seems like they're just starting to scratch the surface with weapon customization. Then they go through some more guns that we have seen before, but I'll list them off again from E3. We have the Duke Mark 44, the Conduit F3, the Silver Dollar Shotgun, the Gjallarhorn Rocket Launcher, Closing Time, Sanctuary No. 2, and Monitor S11. Following this, Bungie informs us of a 3-weapon system that they'll be using. Now for reference, Halo is a 2-weapon system with primary weapons and secondary weapons. Destiny will have a primary weapon slot for versatile assault rifle weapons for your more or less daily use. The second slot is a special weapon slot for situation type weapons like hand cannon, shotgun, submachine guns, or maybe a sniper rifle. And the third is a heavy weapon slot meant for ridiculous amount of damage in a small amount of time, like a belt-fed machine gun or a rocket launcher like the Gjallarhorn. Moving right along here, Bungie once again reiterates that they'll have seamless matchmaking. Destiny will have no menu system, you'll just jump in and play, players will come and go, public events will occur in cycles on the fly, there will be activities for every mood, whether you want to be alone or play with friends. There will be story-driven missions, raids against difficult enemies, and strikes, which have been rumored to be similar to Halo's firefight mode from a recent mail sack, although no information has come out of this ViDoc in regards to that. And of course, competitive multiplayer. And speaking of which, we finally get our first glimpse at competitive multiplayer. Yes, Guardian vs Guardian multiplayer. We don't get to see much, but we get to see a Guardian use a new and unknown ability. We see what appears to be a small scoreboard on the bottom right and a title above that by the name of Rumble, which could be a free-for-all variant as specific player names are used on the scoreboard as opposed to team names. Then on the left, we only get to see a grenade indicator and the 3 weapons our Guardian is carrying. And the only other footage we got to see in regards to this competitive multiplayer is we get to see 2 Guardians lob what appear to be grenades or abilities similar to the Solar Flare one at each other. You can definitely see how similar the movement and feel is to Halo. Unfortunately, this segment is so short and nothing was said other than the words competitive multiplayer. Near the end of the ViDoc, they mention the word supers, which up until now has never been used to describe in reference to the abilities that Guardians can use that they've learned from wielding the magic of the Traveler. Here we get to see the Golden Gun Super, and officially its name has now been confirmed, as seen before by Hunter, which appears to grant significant damage increase or just one-shot kills. Here's a super by the name of Radiance, a new one which has been performed what appears by a Warlock and appears to rain down an explosive blast. Here a Titan is using Fists of Havoc, a classic ground and pound super. And once again we get to see the Warlock's Nova Bomb. As the Warlock uses this ability, the Guardian also hovers. That's because Warlocks have a glide ability, which is easily comparable to the jetpack in Halo Reach. Now as of right now, we don't know if all abilities are now being called supers, or if supers are only in reference to the strongest set of abilities a Guardian can perform. I only say this because the Solar Flare ability, basically an incendiary grenade, is shown off, but with no formal text or introduction, perhaps hinting at its lower value. In a recent mail sack, Bungie mentioned that they've only scratched the surface in regards to abilities, and with this ViDoc we only learned of one new one, Radiance, and received confirmation of a name of another, Gold Gun, so definitely seems like there's still a lot more Bungie has to show us. Now back to those 3 ability slots I mentioned earlier here. In this still here you can see a Warlock that's about to perform the Radiance Super. In the bottom left there are 3 different icons, all of them appear to be resembling a super or some sort of magical ability. On the bottom left, the furthest most left, is the Solar Flare icon. The middle one is a mystery one. It looks kind of unique, almost looks like a flame that may encase a Guardian, who knows. And on the far right of those abilities is Radiance, the yellow one which the Warlock is about to perform. Now comparing that still to the still I showed you guys earlier, the one on the right definitely seems to belong to a Titan here with these different abilities here. From left to right, we have a grenade icon. The middle one is a mystery, but it definitely kind of resembles maybe some sort of movement, maybe like a thrust or some sort of movement ability. And the one on the right that is faded out definitely resembles a ground and pound, so it's maybe safe to say that that is the Fists of Havoc. Now throughout this trailer, when we do get a chance to look at the HUD, many of the Guardians only actually have 2 ability slots, and these guys have 3, so maybe as you level up you get more ability slots. Just a thought. And to wrap up the ViDoc, of course Destiny will have loot. Loot is obviously used to represent maybe weapons you win from the battle for defeating an enemy, maybe some abilities, or maybe some other different upgradable materials. Loot comes in the form of glowing orbs, and here we get to see a chest just spewing out glorious loot. And then in typical fashion we have a cinematic exit to the ViDoc showing off what we think is a Queen Hive-like enemy once again. More Sparrow vehicle footage, enemies, and of course more Old Russia footage. It seems Bungie wants to keep us confined in Old Russia for the time being. Finally, we have a Warlock saying goodbye with a Glide and Nova Bomb combo. With that, my analysis of Destiny's second ViDoc is over. This wasn't as jam-packed full of info as I would liked it to be, but damn was this ever visually packed with eye-pleasing goodness. And with that, I want to ask you guys a question. Has this changed your perspective maybe of which Guardian you're going to pick? And if not, or if so, explain which Guardian you're going to pick when you play Destiny and what platform you're going to be playing Destiny on. I would like to figure out and see where my audience resides. My name is Chief. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to give me a like or a favorite, it does greatly help out my channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys next time. Chief, signing out.